Hi, my name's Dan and I'm Reviews Editor of Focus magazine. In this month's Ultimate Test, we looked at fitness gadgets to see what they can do for you. Now, you might have noticed I'm actually wearing one of the devices we tested, the Fitbit 1. In essence, it's a pedometer, which tracks your physical activity by recording the number of steps you've taken in a day. This can then be converted into how many calories you're roughly burning. Knowledge is power, they say, and the idea is that it'll spur you on to a fitter, more svelte you. Now, I'm definitely in need of a little streamlining, so I'm going to wear the Fitbit 1 for a whole week to see how good it really is. The idea is that by tracking what I eat and what I do for a whole week, it will hopefully lead to a fitter, sleeker me. Right, so I've now spent a whole day with a Fitbit and I've learnt two things already. First, I'm going to lose this wristband because every time you move your hand, it's actually logging steps, which makes the overall activity that you're logging a lot, making you look a lot fitter than you are. So I'm now replacing it with this mount that goes on your belt buckle, and this way I hope to get a more accurate picture of what I'm doing. The second thing is I'm actually not very active at all, even with the hand waving. I'm actually only logging about 3,500 calories burnt, but we can look at that in more detail on the Fitbit site. Right, so as you can see, I've burnt exactly 3,500 calories yesterday and travelled 4.5 miles. Now, as I said, that result is slightly off, given that it's been strapped to my wrist all day. But what's more interesting is the pattern of my activity, which you can see down here. You can see that in the morning when I walk to work, there's a big red blip. My lunch break, there's another red blip, and another red blip when I go home. But rather disappointingly, either side is pretty much a dead zone. Another feature of the Fitbit is that it can be used as a sleep tracker. Now, I wore this last night on my wrist, and it tells me that I actually awakened 9 times throughout the night. Now, I wouldn't have been able to tell you that before, and it also, as you can see here, shows you that my sleep efficiency is 87%. What I could do with either bits of those information, I couldn't tell you, but I suppose if my sleep was feeling disturbed and I wasn't feeling rested, this might help me sort of reveal an underlying problem. Now, I've spent the weekend with Fitbit and I've started to track my food intake using the site's food log. Here you can see the Fitbit site's food log. Now, you just enter what you've eaten, which in my case is a tuna salad. And as you can see, you're greeted with some unusual American brand names, which isn't much help if you're European like me. But you select what you've eaten, and then it's met again with American measurements, which is cup, pint, quart, which again isn't particularly helpful, but you know, I'm just going to go with it. Then you log your food, and then it adds it below to your daily menu. So in this case, it's added a tuna salad here, which equates to about 383 calories. It tells you its carb and sodium and protein content, all of which is really useful, but in the grand scheme of it, isn't going to be much help. As you can see, it's quite time-consuming tracking everything you eat on Fitbit's food log. So instead, I've switched to the Wi-Fi smart scale that you can see here that comes with the Fitbit at an extra cost. It's useful. It basically takes your weight and sends it to your computer and to your log, and then you'll get a chart, which is a nice visual guide to how much you're weighing and how much of a dent you're putting in your targets. But again, really, it's not going to change your life. It's not going to, shock you whether you lose a pound here or there, no more than any other scale would. Throughout the week, to put the Fitbit through its paces, I've been going on various activities. The first one was a bike ride to see if the Fitbit could log a bike ride over 2 miles. Unfortunately, the actual pedometer only measured one mile in total, and that's because the Fitbit works by counting steps with this kind of movement. Now, when you're on a bike ride and this is strapped to your waist, it's only moving this way, and so it only counts maybe half of the activity you're actually doing. Dissatisfied with that, I tried a few other things like squash, jogging and skateboarding, and the results were all fairly similar. It seems as though the Fitbit only really copes well when it's dealing with slow walking. Anything else, and the readings seem to be not exactly what you'd expect. So, if you exercise quite a lot already, then the Fitbit won't be the device for you. But if you're lazy like me, then the Fitbit is perfectly at home on your belt. It'll show you exactly how inactive you are and the kind of exercise you need to be doing to get fit. Another negative is that to Europeans, the food brands and the measurements that are on the site will be quite confusing, and frankly, it's a bit of a chore that I stopped doing halfway through the week. So to sum up, if you need a sobering wake-up call to get fit again, then the Fitbit is definitely the device for you.